If you know me, you probably think I'm dramatic. Maybe a little high-strung, somewhat overly sentimental. You're probably expecting this speech to be full of all those things, and maybe you're right. For that, I'm sorry. But I'm actually not sorry, because if there's anything I've learned at COA, it is that you must be true to yourself. If you are true to yourself, you are bound to do great things. You won't settle for the easy route or for second best. If I'm going to implore this of you today, I must be true to myself, both who I am now and who I was before. Because I have a confession to make. The person you see standing before you is not the same person who stepped on this campus 4 years ago. Then I was cautious and wary, painfully terrified of risks. Though not paralyzed by my fears, my life was certainly different. I was a person standing with bated breath before a plunge, unwilling to consider the jump. Today I stand with you all, poised for our next leap in life. The past 4 years of my life, of our lives, are coming to a close, and together we are teetering on a threshold between what has been and what will be, who we were and who we are about to become. Perhaps you are standing on that threshold, holding your breath, but I urge you not to forget who you are in this present moment, and be at peace with the fact that you are different from the person who first stepped foot on the red bricks, whether or not you were wearing shoes. Or in my case, cowboy boots, which I still have today. Of course, that then begs the question, how have I been changed? The answer to that enigma would likely be found on a tiny island off the coast of Belize. I was standing on the shore, slightly shivery from the cool coastal air and from what I had witnessed in the waters, just as the final rays of daylight were swallowed by the sea. Moments before, my classmates and I floated face down in the water as tiny bioluminescent beings danced, swirled, and dripped around us, and darkness plummeted before and beyond us. It is something you must experience to understand, and I won't pretend I could ever express or explain the intangible details of that moment. But it was in those brief moments in that cold, dark, unfamiliar water that I was transformed as a human being. As I reflect, I know that this place, College of the Atlantic, opened the door for such a transformation. Mere months before, I had never been on a plane, never touched the soil of another country, and most astoundingly, I had never learned to swim. Yet here I was, swimming at dusk in the Caribbean, reaching out to touch drops of light that glided before my disbelieving eyes, gripping the hand of a friend as she squealed with delight through her snorkel. Now, some of you may be somewhat confused at this point. Perhaps you noticed in the program that both my senior project and my internship were in theater. What business does a theater person have swimming with glowing creatures off the coast of Belize? The answer, as each of the seniors sitting before you know, is in 2 words: human ecology. The most illuminating insight of my education comes from the risks I have taken. I may be just being dramatic, I warned you, but my point is that neither inward nor outward growth can be achieved without risk, and risks cannot be met without support. And support requires love and encouragement, and none of this is possible without the understanding of the self. When I told Chris and Helen that I wanted to go to Belize, they had faith that I would overcome my hesitancies about traveling and swimming in deep water. They took that risk. When I told my classmates that this aspiring actress wanted to study butterfly fish, they had faith that I was committed to doing scientific research. They took that risk. And when I finally told myself that it was time to break out of the timid place I had cornered myself, to believe that I had the shrewdness and strength to fall and get up again by my own tenacity, I acknowledged that I must have faith in myself. I must continue to take risks. What this place does so well is that it teaches us to embrace risk. In doing so, we find ourselves. And along the way, we lose ourselves too, but thankfully, we don't ever do it alone. In my case, it was the patience and dedication of my advisor, Ken, who taught me to swim mere weeks before I got on the plane to Belize. But it wasn't just him. I want to thank you all for giving me both the space and the security to push myself, to change myself, and most importantly, to realize myself. Time may be the greatest teacher, but time never stops moving forward. Sometimes we must grasp the lessons the moment they are taught. More than that, we must take hold of the moment itself and treasure it for what it is. And I know it's difficult and beautiful and bizarre to do that now, right now, in this moment. It's also a risk to let yourself breathe in the air of this space between. So often we are tempted instead to give meaning to graduation by the experiences we are leaving behind and the uncertainty of what is before us. The actuality of the now can unanchor us. But I ask that we all take a breath. Yes, breathe, as we stand on this unfamiliar shore together. Maybe you'll learn something about yourself when you thought all the learning was done. Thank you.